Hello, this is Kyle Jayvel. Welcome to today's class. Let's see about Unit 5 today in the subject Internet of Things. So, what we are going to do is let's know about the syllabus which is given here, which is covering all these topics which are listed on the screen. The IoT platforms, design methodology, IoT physical devices, IoT systems, IoT physical servers, and cloud offerings. And today we are just going to see about IoT platforms and design methodology. And I thought it will be very good if we understand this along with a case study. So it will serve two purposes. For the general steps will also be clear, and also given any case study, how do you apply this design methodology to achieve? So it will be like both the things you will be learning in tandem. So these are the steps which are involved, which are IoT design methodology. There are actually 10 steps. We'll be seeing one by one. The first one is the purpose. Given any application, if anybody is asking you to design an IoT system, how do you design an IoT system? So that is the whole idea about the first step. So, what are you going to really do? So, what is the application and what purpose it's going to serve? So, that is your purpose and requirement specification. The second step is your process specification, which means what is the flow which you're going to follow or adopt to get the things achieved, whatever you want. To be developed, whatever you want to develop. The third is domain model. What it really means is, for example, if you're designing a project for a telecom industry, or for example, you're going to develop a automated system for that. So automated system, maybe you can do it with any kind of language, Python or Java or whatever you like. But the domain expertise about what is the transmission and what is a base station, what is the frequency which is involved, all those domain level details are very much mandatory. So step number 3 will help us understand that. And step number 4 is about the information model. So basically the underlying detail about every module. So how does it work, and all those will be handled in information model. And service specification is the one which tells about, do you want to develop any coding, what kind of coding will you require, how many modules do you need to develop. So that will be offered as services. And step number 6 we already have done in unit 1, and you know there are 6 levels, and now depending on the application you should be smart enough to decide which level to choose. Step number 7, 8, and 9 are having some kind of connection. Functional view tells about what is the function of each model which you have decided, or each module you have decided. And operational view is selecting the right components for each functions to be achieved. And after you have identified what components, you have to buy it, procure it, and connect it. So that covers under step number 7, 8, and 9. And step number 10 will be your application development, which is your coding which you use to achieve the task in hand. So these are the steps which are given in sequence. They cannot be developed in parallel. So that's why these arrows are given. So whatever I've explained is given in a single slide to make you understand better. So you can spend a little time on this slide. Just pause it, and then you can have a look at it. Whatever we have seen, it's just given in a abstract manner. So coming to step number 1, the purpose and requirement specification. First, purpose. Purpose is your objective. So what project you want to develop. So here we are taking, for example, home automation. So what do you really wanted to do with home automation? In our case study, what you have taken is you wanted to control the lights in a home from remote. So that is the idea. And behavior, how do you really wanted the system to behave? Home automation can be made local as well. It's like you can make your automation only through within the premise, but now you wanted to make it from remote. So you have to make the system work accordingly. And you can also make it operate in two modes. Okay, so auto and manual. Manual is like whatever you want it. If you want it to switch on, you switch on, otherwise you switch off. But automatic is like you have a sensor which measures the level of light in the room, and if it is dark it automatically switches on, otherwise it switches off automatically. So that's the behavior pattern you wanted to create. And the third one which you will study or come across or decide in step number one is purpose is done, behavior is done, and you also have to have some thought process about system management requirement. So how do you want the system to be managed? So since because we wanted it remote, you wanted only monitoring as well as control. So in our application we wanted both. And the next one is data analysis. So after you collect, for example, the room light level, so after you collect the data, what do you really wanted to do with the data? So what here we wanted to do is we will collect the data, and depending on the light level, you wanted the light appliance in the room to be on or off. So you need some kind of analysis performed. But here you have two choices. Do you want to do a local analysis, or you wanted to do it in remote cloud? So here we are adopting a model where we don't need cloud. We are just going to go for local analysis. And the next one is application deployment. So here where you want to deploy the application, is it in cloud or device? So here we are deciding a simple application where we wanted to deploy in the device, but we wanted it to be accessed remotely. So you have to design accordingly, and obviously security plays a role. So you should give at least a basic user authentication and capability. So step number one, you might have to decide the purpose and what is the kind of behavior you're expecting from the system, and about how is the system management going to be done? Is it to be operated remote or local, and is it only monitoring, or you also wanted to control? Data collection is clear, but how do you want to do analysis of the data? Application deployment, local or remote, and the security. So all those we'll decide in step number one. Step number two is process specification, which is I told you about the flow. So here we already have decided on two modes, mode auto or manual. If it is auto, you wanted to measure the level of light in the room. If it is already bright, then you switch it off. If it is dark, then you switch it on. But here you measure the light state, switch state. What do you want, on or off? So if you want it to be on, you press the switch on. If you want it to be off, then you press the switch off. And this is the domain model which I told you. So this tells about where you wanted to really do this. Home, so we are taking one room, but if you wanted to talk to these kind of physical entities, then you need a virtual mapping for this physical entity. That's why we have this physical entity mapped with a virtual entity. So you'll have two things, room and the appliance in the room. So you have a corresponding virtual entity for that. And here if you look at, this is the hardware part and this is the software part. The hardware part is like you will have a microcontroller, Arduino or ESP8266, and now you will attach sensors and actuators. What the sensor will do? Sensor will measure the light intensity in the room, and if it is dark or bright, depending on that, it will operate the appliance through the relay, maybe to switch on or switch off. So this is very clear with this part. And the sensor, you may have to decide what you wanted to apply for your task at hand. And now if you come here, the device which you have, the micro computer or the mini computer, Raspberry Pi or Arduino, and now you have to put some software on top of it. Okay, so now we call that software as resource, and you have this resource. The basic is your you can have your basic Raspbian OS or VZ, and then you will put your own application which you've developed on top of it. So that covers your resources, which can be your OS along with your application software, and the network resource can be your communication protocols and the APIs which you wanted to use, and this will be offered as service. So this is the service which will be used by the user in order to control the whole system. And now if you look at these arrows, which are very clear from your object oriented analysis and design subject, you know your UML diagrams and the symbols corresponding to it, and this symbol is your one-way association, a plain arrow, and then this bold arrow tells about the inheritance. So here there are some common things which is inherited from the resources, the network resource and the on